If Mr. Chiwenga had known what actually he could have done on the day Mr. Mugabe resigned, he was going to have a reputation. He was going to be a hero in Zimbabwe, because he would have been used by God to restore the rule of law, constitutionalism, proper democracy in the nation. But that's not what he has done. Mr. Mugabe made mistakes. His replacement has made more mistakes than Mr. Mugabe. Yes, every sober-minded person cannot compare Mr. Mnangagwa and Mr. Mugabe and come up with a conclusion that Mr. Mnangagwa is doing better, unless you have smoked some very strong weed. As I talk to you right now, if he wants, he can actually do something that can change the trajectory of his reputation, of his legacy. I'm talking about Mr. Chiwenga. Yes. But the problem he's going to face is the Ahithophel problem. So Ahithophel is a serious problem in Zimbabwe. Advisors. There are three kinds of advisors in this world.
Yes.
The first type of advisors are those who tell you what you need to hear. And then there are those who tell you what you want to hear. And there are those who tell you what they want to achieve themselves. The Ahithophels. They ask you, they advise you to take certain actions which they know they are going to cause disasters. When investigations are done after the fact, you are going to be the one to blame. Because when things are done wrongly, the one who takes responsibility is the one who actually did, who acted on what was done, and not those who advised. If he could find the right advisement, he has a capacity to be an accessory in having a nation that takes a different trajectory.
Yes.
He has his own weaknesses with power, which gets quickly into his head. But there are bigger problems in Zimbabwe right now than that.
Yes.
You see, Zimbabwe in a problem yakafana nekuti pane nduri yegarwe, poita jiki, poita paraffin, hapana mvura. Zvokuti dzimwe nguva unototi ndipe zvangu jiki mbichana. Ndipe jiki mbichana kana paraffin. Ndo ndiborarama. Ndogozochaya zvangu ndoona toita sei. Ndo situation yatinayo. Yes. I think mazwe kuti nduri yegarwe andashandisa zvangoitikawo handina unge ndakazvironga. Sometimes you have to pick a lesser devil when you are faced with many devils.
Yes.
He has a capacity to be advised properly and to correct certain mistakes. Some of the mistakes he has made are not going to be correctable. They have permanent effects. But there are mistakes that can be corrected. It is very wrong of him to think that I hate him. No, I don't. The first day I started talking about him, if he had listened and called me, even in that rage, in that fury, he could have said, bring him. Yes. Let him tell me why he says it like this. Yes. Does he hate me? Why? I would have talked to him. Don't look at my age. Don't look at my natural blood. I'm a servant of God. as far as my spiritual identity is concerned, we are not related.
Yes.
I belong to God, you don't. Let me advise you on what God wants.
Yes.
These are the things why I am saying you are not qualified to execute this. As we talk now, if you look in retrospect, you can see the mistakes that are committed, and they will attest to what I had said earlier on. Those are mistakes. People make mistakes, but you can correct mistakes. You can listen, and you can change the trajectory of your life. What does it help you to be adamant and end up making the mistakes that have been made for the past 1,000 years? My mistakes are 1,000 years old. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yes.
This is an old adage that is more than 500 years old. This is what they are doing, corrupted by power and believing that you are now superhuman. You can't run a nation by giving orders to people to listen to you all the time, even when you are not well informed on the right decisions to make. Do you know that advisement also plays a role on choosing advisors? You need an advisor to help you to choose an advisor.
Yes.
Brother Nelson,
Yes.
what did I say?
You need an advisor.
You need an advisor.
Yes, to even help you choose an advisor.
Yes. Thank you, Brother Nelson. You need an advisor to help you choose an advisor.
Yes.
If you say, I can choose my own advisors, you are going to make a mistake.
Yes.
Ahithophel is a new cancer that has entered the Zimbabwean political landscape. There are Ahithophels in our streets. If God doesn't help us, mistakes are going to be done very soon. And this woman shall continue to be haunted, terrorized, yet violated. We are going to get to a place where our people are going to give less attention to political demigods and focus on political solutions. We have political demigods where people formulate one individual and they say, Mr. So-and-so is the reason of all my miseries. And Mr. So-and-so is my hope of all my fortunes. That approach is not working, especially in Africa. It's going to require a collective approach, not an individual approach. This collective approach is causing people to become thick-headed, to tell themselves that I am the political party myself in my own right. Everyone will dance to my tune. People are supposed to advise him. They no longer have any room to advise him. He tells them, you are my enemies. You want to take over my position. I fought hard to be where we are today. This is my position. No one will take it from me. I got it from God. God sent men of God to rebuke those he had appointed.
Yes.
David was a man after God's heart.
Yes.
But when he made a mistake, Nathan rebuked him.
Yes.
Yes. He was rebuked in broad daylight.
Yes.
If you think that God can love you until he can't rebuke you, you are dreaming. My hope is Mr. Chamisa Mumwajit. ED is my hope. These are political demigods.
Yes.
This approach is not going to work. It's just euphoria, craziness, fanaticism.
Yes.
It doesn't change anything. A nation is not a tuck shop. It's a nation.
Yes.
It needs many hands, many minds to be put together to build a direction of where we are going.
Yes.
If you see that this person does not listen to his peers, it's a cause for concern.